Hi, it's Emily and Barb. If you're watching us from YouTube, we'll put some links below to take you to our pre-summit course page where you can follow along. Or if you're already there, just look down below and you'll see where we are as we talk about these courses. So first, we want to start off with 3 of our newest courses. Barb, tell us about these.
Yeah, I'm excited that we have some new courses. We have one newer one that we're going to tell you about. But the first one I want to talk about is TapRooT Advanced Case Study Workshop. If you're a TapRooT user, you will definitely be interested in it. It's just always very interesting if you have a case study to look at so that you can learn to apply all of your TapRooT tools to that case study, something real that happened in the world. And you just can advance your knowledge and get such a better understanding on how you use all your TapRooT tools together to complete a major investigation. So super excited about that one. The next one is developing incident command system, a new value proposition using TapRooT tools. And I think this one is kind of about emergency response. Do you know more about that one?
Yep. So with this one, it is looking at emergency response. It's having kind of a plan in place on what to do when that disaster strikes, when that incident hits. The reaction time is very important. It's very critical. So this will help look at what kind of incident command system exists, how to improve what we already have, ways to make that better, because we know that saving lives is number one, and we want to do everything we can to respond to emergencies effectively and make sure that we don't have any other things that can occur because of lost time. We actually were doing a case study in a course I just finished. It was in a 5-day course. And where this incident had occurred, the clinic was off-site over 2.5 hours away in Midland. That's the best that they could do. And so they had to meet halfway and then do the continued transport. Without knowing the stuff ahead of time, without having that plan to know who to communicate to, it can just make things so much worse. And we like to be proactive. We like to fix things ahead of time, know what to do, instead of waiting until the last minute when that disaster or that incident happens. So it's a great course to think proactively and have a plan in place for if and when any incident or emergency could occur.
Then we have effective communication certification with Vincent Phipps, which isn't new for the next summit, but we debuted it last year and it was wildly successful.
Wildly. If you don't know what's happening, you might think there's an incident that's happening next door because they are rowdy, they get loud. You've got to communicate in a way to get that point across. So it's very energetic, high energy. You will not fall asleep. You know, like not that you fall asleep in anything else, but this one is, whew, it's intense.
A lot of energy, and who can't use better communication skills? I mean, communication skills, we use them every day. Doesn't matter what industry you're in, what job you're in. We use it in our personal life too. So just a great skill to brush up on.
Now, the other 7 we want to talk about, they're ones that we have recurring each year, but they're so important to continue to feature. The reason why we have such diversity is because there's always something for everybody. Right. When you're coming for a pre-summit course, you're getting that 2-day training, jump starting the training before we jump into the summit, the conference side of things. So we always have our 2-day TapRooT Root Cause Analysis training. Right?
Yeah, and someone who might be interested in that is someone who might need a refresher, who maybe took TapRooT a long time ago, or someone who has never taken TapRooT and really wants to plug in to the summit, which is right after that, because some of the best practice sessions pertain to using your TapRooT skills. So you'll have a really good working knowledge of how to do a TapRooT investigation. And you can get that all done in 1 week. Not only learn how to do a TapRooT investigation in just 2 days, but then learn a lot of best practices the following 3 days.
That's a great point you bring up. I spoke to somebody who had attended the summit but hadn't been to a course yet. And so it really is beneficial to go ahead and get that 2-day course, and then you're right in line. Now we're kickstarting with the summit, and everything just makes sense.
Absolutely.
And then all those things that we talk about, the best practices and the workshops and all that stuff, just continues to capitalize. So it's a great idea. There's also a 2-day risk assessment and management best practices, which is helpful to look at. There's ISO standards and a lot of different ways to do things. And all the best practices, these things that we put together are from multi-industry. So depending on whichever industry you happen to work in, there's always something to learn, whether in industry or cross industry, multidisciplinary. So this is another one that we have, again, is that risk assessment course.
Yeah, with Jim Whiting, he's coming over from Australia, and he's returning to bring this information, and he's a world renowned expert on risk assessment and management. So
we also have auditing and proactive improvement using TapRooT. So we've already talked about being proactive, but auditing and proactive, that's another one to think about.
Yeah, TapRooT can be used proactively, and a lot of people forget that after they take their training because they get so involved in the reactive. But it's using the same tool, but they'll show you how to use those tools to do audits. TapRooT audit is a little bit different than maybe the audit process that you're doing now. But I know a lot of clients who learn about TapRooT, how to do an audit in TapRooT. They take some parts of that and they implement it into their current existing audit program. And some people just use the TapRooT audit program as a standalone way to do audits. So either way, you'll learn a lot of things about being proactive and stopping those incidents from happening in the first place.
That puts us into stopping human error, which is another course, which it also provides a lot of different tools, methodologies, and because we're talking about multi industries, you get to have all the tools laid out in front of you and explained, and then with your company, with your organization, then say what works best for us. How are we going to implement, based off of our practices, what would be the best idea. And I like that because it lets you have the power to use this new information, this knowledge, to decide what works for you.
Yeah, it is. It's a great course, and there's just a lot of good information that you get outside. Even if you've taken the 5-day TapRooT team leader training, this is a lot new and different information that I think you'll appreciate.
Software, that's another one, which if you take a course, we get into the software, but if you want to know more about software, how to customize different things in the software to make it more tailored to customize to you, you want to take the TapRooT software course.
Yeah, the customization is amazing. And especially when it comes to doing management reports, you can build templates. And I know they talk a lot about that in this course. They talk a lot about how to just customize how you like your snap charts to look, how you like them to display. There's so many ways that you can change fonts, you can change colors, you can change the shapes really fast. You can do all kinds of things. And they cover that in this 2 days. And just a great opportunity to learn that.
Yes. Now we've got 2 left. So the next is evidence collection. So we've got effective interviewing and evidence collection. It's a 2-parter. I hear that the instructors are just really awesome people.
I heard the instructors were amazing. Like I heard they were like the best instructors in the. Wait a minute. We are the instructors. Oh my gosh.
We have a great time with this because, again, in TapRooT fashion, we're bringing forth a lot of different ideas, techniques, tools, and ways to improve investigations, things to look out for, those best practices when we're talking about evidence and if it's wet or dry and all the things that you need to do. We talk about in the 5-day, we're still talking about the 3 P's and an R. What does that mean? If you don't know, you need to take the course. We'll be happy to see you there.
Yeah, it's a lot about interviewing. We spend almost an entire day on improving your investigative interviews. Everybody wants to know how to do that because in an investigation, that's where you get a lot of your information.
So this is another course that you may be interested in as part of our pre-summit collection.
So I think this would be a great course to learn how to use the data to improve your work, become more efficient, and get those problems taken care of.
Lastly, we have a 2-day equipment troubleshooting. We call it Equifactor, our 2-day Equifactor course.
The Equifactor course is great, not just for your maintenance professionals, but safety professionals would enjoy it too, because we have a lot of problems that lend to root causes or that we find root causes for to fix that are related to equipment. And we know that equipment problems are related to human errors too, because people set up the equipment, they operate the equipment, they maintain the equipment. So you learn a lot about all of that, and you learn how to use the troubleshooting tools, which are pretty amazing. Heinz Block was a major contributor to this system and very respected work there. So just learning how to troubleshoot better and learning how to find the root causes of equipment failures so that you can fix them and they won't happen again.
Yep. So with that, we also want to make a note that if you go to the pre-summit and the summit, you go for the entire week, there are some discounts as well. You can save $300. So it's important that when you go to register, if that's something you're looking at doing, go ahead and do that all together. And of course, we continually update our website with more information. We'll add more course descriptions and other things as we get closer and closer to that date for our pre-summit and summit happening in 2024 at Horseshoe Bay Resort right outside of Austin, Texas.